Air India 855 Heavy, Bombay Tower. Do you read? Over.
No response. The aircraft has disappeared from the radar. ATC tries to re-establish the contact, but no reply.
Bank angle, bank angle, bank angle, bank angle.
It's the first day of the new year, and Air India Flight 855, a massive Boeing 747, has just taken off from Bombay, bound for Dubai. On board are 23 crew members and 190 passengers. The aircraft is flying smoothly when suddenly the captain initiated a left turn. It's 8 p.m. and the aircraft is over Arabian Sea, nothing visible outside. According to the captain's instrument, the plane is tilting right, but the first officer's instrument shows it is tilting left.
Don't go by that one. Don't go by that one.
Confusion erupted in the cockpit.
Bank angle, bank angle, bank angle, bank angle.
The aircraft is flying at just 2,000 feet. If the captain lost control, the plane would dive straight into the Arabian Sea.
Are we banking?
What exactly happened that night? How could such a massive aircraft with the latest safety systems crash into the Arabian Sea just 101 seconds after takeoff? Could any of the 213 people on board survive? Let's find out. This is what really happened to Air India Flight 855. Bombay. Now it's Mumbai. It's a city of dreams. The film capital of India, the business capital of India, and the city that never sleeps. On December 31st, 1977, New Year celebrations lit up the city. Even in the 70s, Bombay had a vibrant nightlife. There's a magic in this city. People came here and never wanted to leave. But even in this colorful city, they dreamt of another place, Dubai. Dubai means lifestyle, business, shopping, and jobs too. Some were flying Dubai for work, some for business, and others simply to celebrate New Year's Day. Everyone had the same thought in mind: New Year, new life. The very first day of 1978, Bombay International Airport, Santa Cruz. Air India Flight 855 is getting ready for its first flight of the year. Passengers are checking in, luggage is being loaded, and there was excitement in the air. People are wishing each other Happy New Year and getting ready for the takeoff. In the cockpit, Captain Madan Lal Kukar, 59 years old with over 18,000 hours of flying experience. Beside him, First Officer Indu Veeramani, 43 years old, an ex-Indian Air Force Wing Commander who joined Air India in 1976. He has got over 4,500 hours of flying experience. With them is a flight engineer Alfredo Faria, 53 years old with 11,000 flying hours, and is one of Air India's most senior flight engineers. Also, he is an expert in Boeing 747 systems. The aircraft for this flight is a Boeing 747-237B, one of the biggest passenger planes in the world. It has 2 floors, wings nearly 200 feet wide, and seating capacity of over 400 passengers. Its body is painted white with the red stripes and a golden sunburst on the tail. It is named Emperor Ashoka. 23 crew members on board, including those beautiful air hostess in traditional Rajasthani-style Gagra cholis, which served as their uniforms. Flight 855 is ready for takeoff on runway 27. Here is today's plan. Take off at 8:12 p.m. from Bombay and land in Dubai at 11:45 p.m. This route is simple. Bombay is on the coast, so the plane would fly out over the Arabian Sea. then turn slightly right and fly straight to Dubai. Very simple.
Namaste. Welcome aboard Air India. Kindly pay attention as we take you through the safety instructions. Note that the location of the safety equipment on this aircraft may vary from other aircraft.
Bombay Tower, Air India 855 Heavy, ready for departure, runway 27. Air India 855 Heavy, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
8:12 p.m. Flight 855 is taking off from runway 27. 190 passengers and 23 crew members, total 213 people on board. It's a smooth takeoff. Passengers are admiring the city lights below, saying goodbye to India. In the cockpit, Captain Cooker is flying the aircraft. First Officer Indu Veermani is monitoring the instruments, and Flight Engineer Alfredo Faria is keeping an eye on all systems. Right after takeoff, the captain gets the call from ATC.
Air India 855 Heavy, climb to 8,000 feet, report leaving 2,400 feet. Climbing to 8,000 feet, report leaving 2,400 feet. Air India 855 Heavy. Happy New Year to you, sir.
They got the clearance for climbing to 8,000 feet. They're now at around 2,000 feet. According to the flight plan, the aircraft is approaching the sea and will soon need to make a right turn. Up until this point, everything is fine. But to understand what happens next, it's important to know how a pilot flies an aircraft when the visibility is poor, especially when it's dark outside. At night, pilots can't see the ground, they can't see the sea, and they often can't even see the clouds. In such conditions, they rely entirely on the aircraft instruments, especially one key instrument called the attitude indicator. Attitude indicator is an instrument that shows the aircraft position and angle relative to the horizon. Usually, there are 3 attitude indicators in the cockpit. One in front of the captain, another in front of the first officer, and a third in the center, known as the standby attitude indicator. The most important thing it shows is where the sky and the ground are. Blue represents the sky, brown represents the ground, and the line where the sky and the ground meet is called the horizon. In the middle, there's a small square box representing the aircraft's current level. If the box is in the center, the aircraft is level. If the box is above the horizon, the nose is pointing up. If the box is below the horizon, the nose is pointing down. If the horizon line tilts right, the aircraft is tilting left. If the horizon line tilts left, the aircraft is tilting right. When the nose moves up or down, it's called pitch. When the aircraft tilts left or right, that's called bank. And the movement of banking is referred to as roll. According to the plan, the captain now initiates a right turn. After completing the right turn, the plane comes back to level. But the captain's attitude indicator is still showing the aircraft is tilted right, even though it is actually level. Believing his instrument, the captain rolls the aircraft to the left to correct it. As a result, the plane, which was level, now tilts left. But the captain's indicator still shows a right bank. That's when the captain says,
What's happened here? My instrument.
The first officer replies,
Mine has also toppled. Looks fine.
meaning his indicator also shows a bank, but he feels it's otherwise working. Here's the problem. The first officer doesn't specify which way his instrument is tilted. It was actually tilted left. The captain assumes the first officer's indicator is also showing a right bank, so he rolls the plane even further to the left. The aircraft is now banking 40 degrees to the left. At this moment, Flight Engineer Alfredo Faria notices the standby attitude indicator is working fine, and it shows the plane is banking dangerously to the left. But the captain's primary instrument is still showing a right bank, Flight engineer.
Don't go by that one. Don't go by that one.
But the captain, fully fixated on his instrument, ignores all the warnings and continues rolling left. Now 60-degree bank, 70, 80,
Bank angle.
90
bank
degree.
angle.
The aircraft is repeatedly triggering the warnings. The plane has already rolled to the left. The altitude is also decreasing. The bank angle is increasing to 108 degree. The plane is almost inverted, nose down. Seconds later, it plunges into the Arabian Sea. Just 3 km off Bandra Beach, the Air India Flight 855 crashes. The aircraft suddenly disappears from the radar. ATC tries to make the contact, but no response. All 23 crew members and 190 passengers perish in the crash. The rescue teams waste no time. Within minutes, Bombay's Coast Guard vessels, Navy boats and helicopters rush to the crash site. Their first hope was to find survivors, but sadly there were none. The plane had hit the water at 35-degree nose-down angle, breaking into pieces. Seats, bags and parts of the Boeing 747 were floating on the sea. For the investigation, divers recovered the black box from the seabed. Because the Boeing 747 was one of the largest and safest passenger planes in the world, the investigation was taken very seriously. When they checked the cockpit voice recorder, they heard the final moments of the flight. Just after Captain Madan Lal Kukar wished the ATC Happy New Year, sir, his main attitude indicator stopped working. The first officer said his instrument had also tilted, but the first officer's instrument was banked to the left and the captain's instrument was stuck to the right. Flight engineer Alfredo Faria told the captain to check the standby attitude indicator, which was still working properly, but by then the plane was already upside down. The investigation said the cause was a spatial disorientation, meaning when pilots can't see the horizon and rely on faulty instruments leading to wrong decisions. But the story didn't end there. Here's a twist. The victims' families filed a lawsuit in the US against Boeing. But Boeing, a huge and powerful company, put the blame on the captain. Boeing's lawyer Stephen C. Marshall claimed that the Captain Cooker was on diabetic medicines and had drunk alcohol within 24 hours before the flight, making him responsible for the crash. These claims, with no proof, upset the captain's family, other pilots and the Indian aviation community. Captain Madan Lal Kukar was a very experienced pilot with over 18,000 flight hours, which equals to 20 to 25 years of experience. Such accusations damaged his good name. In November 1985, US Federal District Judge James M. Fitzgerald dismissed this case against Boeing and the instrument manufacturers. There was strong proof that the instrument had failed, but still the case was closed. No proof was ever found that the captain drank alcohol or was unfit to fly. The main cause was instrument failure, but Boeing said the captain did not handle the situation correctly, removing blame from themselves. Since 1970s, Boeing have often blamed pilots in such crashes. Even in the Air India 171 crash in June 2025 that happened in Ahmedabad, the preliminary report blamed the pilots for cutting off fuel, but we'll only know the truth when the final report comes out. If you found this video interesting, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you love aviation stories. Thanks for watching.